The city was a symphony of twinkling lights and jubilant carols, but for Ilara, it was a silent film of a life she no longer lived. Christmas, once a beacon of warmth and laughter, now cast a long, cold shadow over her small apartment, a shadow shaped exactly like her husband, Liam. He had been the music of their lives, and since he was gone, the world had fallen quiet. Her 7-year-old son, Noah, was a miniature of his father, with the same bright eyes and a heart full of untarnished Christmas wonder. He'd carefully written a letter to Santa, his tongue sticking out in concentration as he listed a single, modest wish, a small, red toy car, just like the one his father had promised him. Ilara's own heart ached with a hollowness that echoed the state of her purse. After Liam's illness, the medical bills had piled up like relentless snowdrifts, leaving her with just enough to keep the heat on and put simple meals on the table. A toy car, as small as it was, felt like a mountain she couldn't climb. Days before Christmas, she watched from her window as families bustled by, their arms laden with brightly wrapped presents. A familiar bitterness pricked at her throat. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that her son's innocent wish was an impossible dream. It wasn't fair that the world celebrated while her own world had stopped turning. That evening, Noah found her quietly weeping over an old photo album. It was a picture from last Christmas. Liam, wearing a silly reindeer antler headband, hoisting a giggling Noah onto his shoulders. "Mommy, why are you sad?" Noah's small hand rested on her arm. "Is it because you miss Daddy?" Ilara nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. "I miss him too," Noah whispered, his voice thick with a maturity that broke his mother's heart. "But he told me he'd always be with us, like a star, the brightest one." He then pulled a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. It wasn't his letter to Santa. It was a drawing, a child's masterpiece of wobbly lines and vibrant crayon. It showed 3 stick figures under a giant yellow star. One was clearly her, one was him, and the third, a little fainter than the others, had a halo. "See?" Noah pointed. "He's right there. We're all together." He looked at her, his eyes shining with a love so pure it was blinding. "I don't need a red car, Mommy. I just need you in that moment." The dam of Ilara's grief broke. But this time, it wasn't a flood of despair. It was a cleansing wave of love. She hugged her son tightly, the scent of crayon and childhood innocence filling her senses. He was right. Liam was gone, but his love remained, a legacy living on in their son. The joy of Christmas wasn't in the giving of presents, but in the presence of each other. On Christmas morning there was no red car under their tiny sparse tree. Instead, there was Noah's drawing, framed in a simple frame Ilara had found. They spent the morning on the floor, not unwrapping gifts, but unwrapping memories, telling stories of Liam, laughing through their tears. Later, a soft knock came at the door. It was their elderly neighbor, Mr. Henderson, a widower who rarely spoke. He held out a small, steaming casserole. "Thought you two might like some," he mumbled, his eyes kind. "My wife, she always made too much." As they shared the simple meal, a quiet warmth filled the room, chasing away the last of the shadows. It wasn't the boisterous joy of the carols outside, but something deeper, more profound. It was the quiet magic of human connection, a shared understanding of loss, and the resilient hope that even in the darkest of winters, a single flame of kindness could light the way. For the first time in a long time, Elara felt a flicker of peace. Christmas hadn't brought back what she had lost, but it had shown her what she still had, and it was more than enough.